has the most airflares? Who has the best airflare? Are airflares important for battles? What's the best way of learning airflare? High ones or low ones? And why? These are all things we're going to talk about here in this video with Airflare Talk. Greetings all Airflare YouTube fans, and if you click this video, that means that you are looking for some Airflare knowledge. Welcome home. A lot of people are doing Airflare. We have a lot of Airflare tutorials, and there's so much Airflares around us. But yet, there's only so little we know about Airflare. So that's why I wanted to make this video so everybody could expand on their Airflare knowledge so you can get your Airflares to the next level. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the high Airflare versus the lower Airflare. What's the best one to learn and why? So straight out, I'm gonna recommend everybody to train the high Airflare at first. If you are starting out with Airflare and you're still wondering, should I practice the low Airflare, should I practice the high Airflare? I would 95% of the time recommend you to train the high Airflare. Well, obviously, I'm promoting my own technique that I use in my Airflare tutorial, but I'll tell you why. So first of all, learning high Airflares will actually give you a lot faster access to Airflare variations, such as baby airflares or walkover airflares, hopping airflares, even all the way up to one-handed airflares. Now you see all these variations are really high when you look at the hip position. That's why people that learn the airflare in the highway connect a lot faster to these variations. And that's not all. Besides unlocking variations, you will also unlock combos a lot faster. Combos such as airflares to like 16 or like 16 hops or dead man hops, depends on where you're from. All the way up to really complicated combos like going from a 90 and then one-handed just jumping straight to your airflare. All these kind of things will develop a lot faster if you have learned your airflares in the highway. A few other things on high airflares is you have a smaller chance of getting injured. Training your airflares in the low method can end up pretty painful, especially if you don't know what you're doing yet. Another reason why I recommend people to train the high airflares is when you really get to master your airflares in the high method, you usually develop the feeling of doing your airflares lower. So that means people that have learned their airflares in the high method actually have the choice later on to do high airflares or low airflares. People that have trained their airflares in the low method usually don't have this option. However, I have seen some people train them in the low way and still manage to get up to high airflares. But a lot of people doing low airflares really have troubles with doing like munch airflares and these kind of variations. Also, another reason why you should train high airflares first is because it takes way less time. I had a friend of mine and he learned his airflares over 6 or 7 years time doing the low method. I personally learned my airflares like over 6 or 7 years time too, but I didn't really have a method. I just tried every method there was. But now when I look at young kids training and learning these airflares, they are learning these moves in under 2 years time. It's completely crazy.
It's completely insane.
So with that said, most of the time, high airflares get you the airflares faster than low airflares. So let's put all of that together. So training your airflares with the low method will give you nice and clean low airflares. But training the airflares in the high method will get you variations, combos, safety, choice of high and low airflares, and you'll learn them way faster. If you don't agree or you have other experiences, I really love to know about it in the comment section, and maybe we can talk about that in another video of Airflare Talk. So, moving on. How important are airflares in battle? Because a lot of people think, once I will do my airflares, I will win every battle. But this is actually completely wrong. I personally can do airflare, and I love airflare, but most of the time when I battle, I don't even use airflare. Actually, these days, doing 10 to 20 normal airflares in a battle will get you 0 points. But I do have to say, these days with these one-on-one competitions, B-boys and B-girls need a lot of sets. So let's say you would master the airflare and you're able to do certain kind of variations and combos. This will actually give you more vocabulary to choose from to do competitions. Because these days we're talking about 17 rounds to win this competition. You know, when we're looking at the Olympics and all these kind of things, 17 rounds is a lot. You need a lot of moves. So the airflare isn't like the most important move. It's actually as important as any other move. If you're missing out on UFOs and a few variations on that, that has the same value as not being able to do airflare and those variations. So with that said, you want to be able to do airflares and a lot of variations but you also want to be able to do any other move and a shitload of variations too. Basically, if you want to become the ultimate b-boy, you're supposed to do everything. So is Airflare important? It's important, but it's as important as any other move. Do you disagree or do you agree? Let me know in the comments. All right, so let's talk about who has the most Airflares and who has the craziest Airflare. Let's just do like an Airflare award moment. So the current record of most Airflares goes to B-Boy Ghetto, and I believe he's up to 61 Airflares. However, we do have B-Boy Bobby from Venezuela, and he's up to 80 Munch Airflares. Is this proof that Munch Airflares are less tiring than normal Airflares? Let me know in the comment section. And the next award goes to B-Boy Castrito from Mexico, because my man has the lowest Airflare you can imagine. I do remember seeing somebody from Japan doing really low Airflares, but you know, if you know that dude's name, just put it in the comment section. We'll probably feature him in another video. But for the moment, lowest Airflares goes to Castrito from Mexico. The award for the most extreme Airflares go to my main man, B-Boy Nazim. I think he represents Russia. Like, look at this guy's legs, man. These legs go past what you would, this is mathematically impossible. Next up, Alexis, this kid from Peru. This kid is on another level when it comes to like Airflare variations and combos. So big up to you, my man. You just made it in this video and you're writing Airflare history, my brother. And the last award goes to the Madman Award when it comes to Airflares. And this goes out to my man, B-Boy Can Action, for doing Airflares in both directions and transitioning with one hand on both sides. Like, how long would that take to practice that?
That is insane.
So last topic we're gonna talk about is when can you actually say you master an Airflare? Because sometimes you're doing like a few Airflares and you're like,
yeah, I got him, man. I got my Airflares.
I was like that. I was a young dude and I had a couple of Airflares and I went to my friends and I was like,
Yeah,
I didn't see them in a few weeks' time and I was like,
yeah, I got my Airflares, bro.
Bro, no way, bro.
Yeah,
and they're like,
Yo, show me them Airflares, bro.
and I go,
bro. Yeah, man, it's sure thing, bro.
and I go 1, 2, and crash. I didn't master my Airflare yet. So when do you really actually master your Airflare? Like for me personally, and this goes for any power move, is the moment you can actually accelerate or decelerate in your power. Let's just take the windmill for example. If you can do a windmill and accelerate and slow down whenever you want, that's when you can really say you mastered power. Same for the Airflare. If you can start slow and then speed up and then slow down again, this shows ultimate control. That means you mastered the Airflare. All right, next up is we're gonna talk about Airflares in battles. So let's say you've been training your Airflares for a while, and let's say you wanna try your Airflares out in a battle. This is a painful and hard process. Doing Airflares in practice and doing Airflares in a battle under pressure are two completely different things. And I'm not gonna lie to you, you're probably gonna have to crash a few battles before you really start to understand and motivate yourself to get that Airflare to the next level for you to actually do it in a battle. Or you'll crash, piss your pants, and never do a battle again. So you see, crashing in a battle is actually a good thing. If you go to a battle with the intention of doing Airflare for the first time and something goes terribly wrong, you will go home frustrated, but you can convert that frustration into motivation so you can practice that Airflare more. Then the next battle will probably be a little better, but not yet what you expect. Same process, go back home, train hard, next battle you're gonna do more Airflares, and that's the road to doing your Airflares in battle. But don't forget, if your goal is to do 10 or 20 Airflares in a battle, you're probably not gonna win that battle. So be patient on the process from the training to the battle. You have to be willing to fail to get there. So to all the people watching that have this problem, maybe you're halfway there. You just gotta keep going and going and going and going. So fellow Airflare friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to make a second video about this and talk about how long the Airflare actually takes to learn. Or like elbow Airflares, new variations that haven't been discovered yet. Kids versus adults, who learns faster? And I would actually really love new topics from you guys so we can talk about that in the next video. So this was B-Boy Sambo here on Airflare Talk. This is really awesome. I had a really great time with you guys. Don't forget to Sub-Zero is from Mortal Kombat. Check out my YouTube channel for other tutorials and other videos. And that's it guys, I gotta do shit, all right? Take care, peace. and peace. Yo.